being as comfortable reaching out to him with this specific. I've tried to talk to somebody before, but it wasn't as transparent in my conversations.
Okay.
And I didn't know how to approach it without making anybody uncomfortable. But I realized that it's not about only, everybody else being uncomfortable. It's about me being comfortable.
Right.
So I've taken great pride in working and doing my best and being as productive as I could. But with years and years, I've noticed myself like slowing down and not being as productive as I could be, just because just because of this sensitive situation.
Okay.
It's obvious that I'm different from the rest, and I'm gonna be very clear. In my years here, coming in here, I noticed that my background made me very different from everybody else. Your lifestyle might be just specific to one thing, and then interacting with somebody different could be a little awkward, or you might have different, the way you view the world might be different. So when I started here, as you notice, I've done my best to make everybody comfortable, giving gifts from Africa, like the traditional shirts, trying coffee every time just to kind of make you feel comfortable, make everybody feel comfortable. I'm not exaggerating when there's some kind of bias in regard. And this is funny because this is, the Starbucks thing is one thing that just happened, it's showing, but there's some kind of, stereotypes, which is okay because it will all have judgment. But the reason I was going the extra mile with making everybody comfortable is because I know that there's people who might feel unsafe just because I look the way I am. It's the truth. It's life. But I'm not here to change the world. I'm not here to to change the way you view the world. I'm here to do my best and work and be as productive as I can be. With that, but when I feel like there's something behind it, it's something that's just then you become defensive. I know I've accomplished a lot here. At this point, before I used to want to be reassured, but even with all this National Geography, or like calling you some African reference or comparing to a monkey, like this is hard for me to just get back to work when you hear things like that, and then it's hard to get to working when you hear some degrading terms when addressed to you. And this is because I'm very aware of what's going on. I might be very quiet, but you see, I can hear it. It's just because we're cubicles and people can hear it. And some of the things is some of the terms I've heard, just being addressed a certain way. It's really hard. It's demoralizing, to say the least. At first, it used to give me actually energy because you think this, let me show you what I am. But after 4+ years, you're like, it's like draining. I'm like, let me just work and let me focus on my work and not think about this. What did I just hear this? Okay, like I said, this is what you see here. You just heard me talking to somebody that I used to work for, my old employer. My old employer is the reason why I'm here. You see, the biggest picture you see there is the person literally in the reason why I'm here is because of him. Whatever blood I spill, whatever blood I lose, is going to be on this man's hand. Nobody else. Not even the person who literally does the act. These people are just the bottom feeders. Because of this person that you see at the top over there, It's be why I'm here, and this is why I'm making these videos, and this is what you see and hear in the bottom of all the different stories. That's where they put me in that program that does these things. And I have perps in all shape and form, from new employers to neighbors to people around you to honeypot or whatever they call those, trying to get you to accept this version of reality. Now you see small picture. Those people were just like my coworkers, about the same position of not close to me, close to my position. And there's these people were trying to make, they were like on the field in like annoying me, agitating me, making life hard for me. There's many more than them. But lately, these people have been trying to try to make me accept this version of what was happening. Right? You heard me just a second ago. That was me talking to this person and telling him what's going on. And of course, I recorded it because I knew that something was going on, and it's been going on for a while. And now it's been happening is like they've been creating new version of memories and creating new version of like perceptions of memories. Now, I know there was slanders of all sorts, right? One thing you're gonna hear is like they slander people in ways, in the communities and whatever, and try to get you to accept this new version, right? And so you see this creepy bald man that's in the small picture, he will say things, and now they look back, it's like, oh, they saw it. These people that sell industrial products saw this, right? When in reality, they put me in this program where they're going to do some things, and there's going to be pedophilia centric. This is a systematic thing they do. To the point where you see that woman in the big picture. This man, they try to make me think that's, like when you heard her children saying the ABC, he got stimulations. They saw that stimulations. The reality of that is completely different, and something they try to erase. But I don't really want to speak about that because these people live in a reality that's falsified. And they try to even make me have a memory of when I remember this baby that came in. Obviously, this thing was such a facade where everybody had if somebody came with a child, people were supposed to come around and talk about, hey, And I remember the guy with the small picture, one of the top 3 pictures, put his keys around this kid and start crying. Now they give me stimulation, and they're like, oh, that's that's real. And then they try to say, well, whose kids was it? Was it this woman in the middle there? Was it? Try to make me subscribe to this falsified reality, falsified memory, because they wanted me to subscribe to this thing, giving me stimulation, these memories, falsify as they are. And they try to make me think, oh, you see that guy, that's what he saw. You see that? But yeah, I was like, who? Of course I know it's falsified. Now, I know that they were slandering me, they were creating false reality, and they're like, no, that's so what you do as a kid. As a kid, I was a late 20s, early 30-year-old man there. What do you mean? Do you understand? Like, they really try to get you to accept these things. When in reality, the reason was very race-related. And they wanted to get rid of me. And once you put in the program, everything starts. They slander you, they treat you weird, they say certain things. You heard my interview. That's before I found out everything. That was like at the time I was there. 2018 is. And now because these people that you see with the big picture over there are the reason why I'm here. And the same people have donated money to this pedophile in Alabama that's picking up kids. They try to paint them as something else. Because they're trying to portray themselves as this like group of like progressive. It's like, no, you're not that. Whatever race and whatever. Once you put in the program, they will destroy you. These people are not. They don't have no race. They don't care. They're not racist. Once you put in the program, these people around you will torture you and torment you no matter what race, age, or gender you are. They do this. They use a lot of childlike individuals. They love this feeling of finding empowerment in tormenting people because this technology that is run by these entities filled with pedophiles, which is ironic that these entities filled with pedophiles will come up with these tactics, which you're going to hear, of systematically manipulating somebody in these pedophile ways. Oh, and yes, there's a lot of women doing this to women. And so you hear me talking to the people responsible for me being in this program. They are trying to create new memories, putting stimulation when they're bringing kids, trying to come up with new version. And they'd be like, no, these people who sell products for warehouses and whatever, oh, they knew. Of course, once you put in this program, they start the system of slandering, of tormenting you in different ways. They were saying things to annoy me, to disturb me, to make your life hard, and they did that on purpose. It was stressful to be there, and they made life stressful. When this person would say something out loud like that, it's for me to hear that, to start tormenting me.
Not knowing what to do other than to just cradle the totally flaccid arm in my other hand while screaming hysterically, and then it quickly returned to normal, but left me very traumatized. Something they have been doing for about the past 4 months or so has been the symptoms of a yeast infection, which they turn off or on, as well as up or down in severity. Right after nearly every shower, and sometimes during the shower, they do severe symptoms of a yeast infection, sometimes making me scratch my genitals so much that it leaves my genitals painfully raw, making it hard to walk or sit or go to the bathroom. I would now like to talk about the people around me being manipulated by these electronic weapons as well. There does not appear to be a need for microchips or nanotechnologies to manipulate the minds and bodies of anyone around me, anywhere in the world, which I have repeatedly witnessed. For example, they make people around me burp, hiccup, and sneeze repeatedly, especially the sneezing, because the V2K says it's like an orgasm, so they make people around me sneeze excessively to threaten more sexual assaults. I am currently a speech-language pathologist working in private practice with young children. I had a 7-year-old client who has autism, and she was the most significantly affected of all of my clients. I eventually had to tell this client to go to another clinic, and they used her to threaten the most torture in me, as well as their most extreme forms of torture. For several months, she would cry and scream horribly during our therapy sessions, despite having a great day at school. This was highly unusual behavior for her, as she usually behaved very well during her therapy sessions and had been making incredible progress on all of her therapy goals. This was used to threaten extreme torture on me, making me scream and cry, etc. They would make the kids act out the kinds of torture that would later be done on me. For example, they would also sometimes make her bite her hand, threatening to make me bite my hands, as they often do. One day, she had a large, severe bite mark on her arm. She has also grabbed her crotch, saying, "Ow," and this was used to threaten me with severe sexual torture. One day, I also observed her gasping for air a few times in the same way that I do when I am being more severely suffocated. The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated, then I began to experience very extreme suffocation all day, every day, for about 2 months straight, and that's also when they made it worse when I eat. Then I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, "Ow." I observed voices, noises, and music directly into my mind to communicate with me in real time and at the speed of thought. And it also includes the manipulation of thoughts, emotions, and perceptions in the person's mind. Additionally, the targeting is all highly perverted and sexual, as well as destructive and violent.
Also a form of sensory deprivation which will be discussed later. Days and weeks lose their meaning. 6. Sexually disturbing tailored pornography. The summary of the Senate torture report disclosed the disgusting revelations that in the secret torture derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds. and vice versa is true.
I also experience what is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of planted dreams and videos in my closed eyes. Specific foods.
I just can't take this whole thing into account so much. I make it so dramatic. It is dramatic. It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophilia. This disgusting, disgusting, disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they're doing. I don't know.
Pornographic images and videos, including highly disturbing pedophilia type of images and videos when I close my eyes. It also includes videos of violence.